Hello and good afternoon, good evening, everyone. It is 7:22 p.m. on May 8th, on Thursday. This is an update video on some of my progress on what I've been doing with model trains so far. Okay. The first thing is, we're going to get to this first. These are Finero and Camerlengo HO scale MP54s. One of my first actual painting attempts, I took and painted two of these cars in the Penn Central later green scheme. I have to apply decals yet. One of the things I found is that on occasion, one of the cars has the floor is the actual floor that's enclosed with it. These are cast resin kits. The floor is cast resin. The floor is actually on one of these cars is actually about 2 millimeters too short, a millimeter on each end. So the screws, when you go to drill holes for the screws will not be centered in the mounting posts in the floor itself. As you can, there's a mounting post here, here, and two on the other end, over here and here. I made my own floor. I measured the original floor, which was actually just over 42 thousandths thick, and I made my own out of 40 thousandths styrene and made it to shape. And if I put it this floor, it fits this floor perfectly. No gaps. Come on, you. And, yep, there you go. You can see there's no gap in the floor, okay? What I did was I tend to wear gloves now whenever I'm handling cars, because once I wash them, I don't want to handle them with bare hands, because even a little bit of skin oil getting on one small part of a car can ruin the paint job, because the paint can orange peel or it can flake off. Usually it flakes off, okay? All cars get, after they're washed, get sprayed with Tamiya Fine Surface Primer. Great stuff, seriously. So there's that. So I have to put decals in this, and I'm hoping to make some windows for it out of clear acetate. All right. And I have a pantograph to go on, a set of pantographs to go on one of these for a motor car, and I have to find the correct. I have to get a few other things like lights and stuff installed, and I was able to drill out. I got to drill out the holes for the lighting. This one has not been drilled yet. The other one has been. So I have the micro LEDs that are going to go in, and they are bingo right there. Micro mini LEDs. These things are like 1 millimeter in size. Amazon like $6, $7.99. Okay. Anyway, that's one project. All right. It's on the burner, so to speak. Let me get to number two. Number two is this boxcar. Got it for $1. Got the shelf like $1 or $2 at a train show. No floor, no trucks, no nothing. Figure what the heck. Go ahead and I'll make something of it. So I made a floor that's 60,000 styrene. I had these body bolsters sitting around. So I put them in place. I have to make an underframe yet. I'm not putting an interior because there's no doors to open. So the decals look a little bit, how do you say, janky? So might redo the decals a little bit, at least that one. At least this one I might redo, and this one possibly, but I know that one there. I got to add frame and couplers to it. I got these trucks off of eBay, and what I did was I went ahead and hollowed out this more, enlarged the hole with an X-Acto knife. Why? Because when you put it on the body bolster, it fits just about perfectly. You can see it sits right inside. So I use a 256 mounting screw with a washer or two, and there you go. There you have that. Okay. Now on to the main event, so to speak. These are Long Island Railroad. These were put up by IHP many years ago. They are no longer made. Have not been made, and for a brief period, the floors and the trucks were on Shapeways. You got the bodies from IHP Imperial Hobby Productions, and the floors and the trucks were on Shapeways. Well, I managed to get the floors, but I didn't get enough trucks. So I'm going to fab up some trucks from 60,000 styrene or brass, and each one of these cars, I got the wheels from Northwest Shortline. The trucks actually snap together, and the wheel sets go right inside of them. The trucks actually that these cars use, these are M1 Metropolitans that were actually came out, I think, in 1968, 1968, 69. Long Island Railroad and Metro North both use these cars. 85 feet long, okay. something that they had never had on either one of those railroads before, like this. And they're great. These are nice models, actually. And what I did was I painted them originally, but it was a learning experience for me. Why? Because I didn't wash the bodies, I didn't use primer, and I sprayed the paint directly to them after filing. So yeah, that paint was doomed to fail, so to speak. So what I did was I went ahead and stripped them, re-washed them, and I started wearing gloves when I did everything. From the time I started washing them, I wore gloves and sprayed testers, buffable metallizer stainless steel paint. You can still get it. Amazon carries it. Hobby shops near you might carry it. I don't have a hobby shop really close to me. The nearest one is either way. One way is about an hour and a half. The other one's about 45 minutes east of me, at least. And they only open like 1 or 2 days a week. So what I did was, as far as the floors go, the floors itself has an inner floor that is going to have seating. And I used 256 screws to mount the floors and everything. Hold on, okay, let me get that in there. So I have to trim these screws off because I need shorter screws, so they have to be shorter. And I plan on putting seating. And I use the same for the coupler. I use a KD coupler. On the back is a KD 505 housing, coupler housing. This way it clears the rear of the car body like that, see? And I can adjust it in or out slightly. And the thing is, the floors have a bit of a bow to them. So what I'm going to do actually is take a hairdryer or a heat gun and gently heat it up and then gently bend it straight, But yeah, this is what the car looks like now. The front couple I have to put on this one. And the thing is, though, to get the body on, you have to take the front coupler off because the coupler sits right through there, through the slot on the bottom, okay? Or the slot, no, actually the upper slot, the upper slot, okay? These are also, as you can tell, drilled for micro mini LED wires. And to that end, I purchased another something for this. It's a punch set, okay? This punch set, I got it on Amazon, once again, makes discs, including clear discs. The smallest one being 1/8 of an inch, literally 1/8 of an inch. So, and they come in graduations of 1/8 of an inch, 3/16, 1/4, on up to 3/4 of an inch. So what you do is you take the block out. All right. Oh, you in there. Take whatever size dowel or punch you need, and you put the material underneath or between it. In my case, I'm going to be using clear acrylic, and you go ahead and you put it in and bingo, punch it out. And you can actually have a lens for a headlight or taillight. That's my intention. All right, whether it's HO or O scale, or even G scale. One other thing I found is with the stainless steel paint, this has a bit of a dull finish. And what you do is I bought cotton balls, dollar store cotton balls to buff the paint job with. Once you buff it, once I finish buffing the cars, I'm going to mask them off for the blue stripe that goes along the bottom of the car, the belt rail on the car. There's a blue stripe on these cars. And I'm going to mask off for the anti-glare over the cab window section. It's just this this area here, this little area it's outlined here. That's the area that gets outlined and masked off, and painting that flat black anti-glare. Yeah, so pretty much that is what I've been up to as far as what goes. Oh yeah, one other thing I did was I took and I decided I wanted to go ahead and hollow out and drill out the number board. So what I did was I bought this little itty bitty pin vise, and it comes with a whole bunch of these little bits, and I mean really small bits. This is actually a bit that's 2 or 3 times the size of a couple of the bits in there. And I used the drill to, if you look at this side, I drilled out 3 holes, and I took a number 11 X-Acto knife and hollowed out the rest of it, as you can see here. And even it wouldn't finish the job, but to get the job finished, what I did was I took one of these nail files. These are dollars. You can get these at dollar store, Walmart, whatever. They're cheap nail files. They come in packs of 10. Took a pair of tin snips. These old tin snips. I guess you could use a razor, but the razor would get dulled by the grit on the thing too fast. So I opted to use the tin snips. You can use scissors too, but beware, they will get dull. What I did was here's a sliver of a emery board, one of those boards, and let me get this right, sorry, and it just fits in here. It just fits in the slot, enabling me to sand it so that I can sand it and hopefully really soon get the lighted number boards right above the motorman's cab. So this way you can see the number on both sides. I can't do this right now, and I got some hints and some help on finding how I would make it, how I'd make the number boards. Question is finding the numbers that small. As you can tell, these are only about 1 millimeter or 2 in height. Yeah, so you need really small numbers. So, yep. Oh yeah, another project I've been up to is this little sucker. This is an O scale. Let me move these to the side a little bit. This is an O scale R10 subway car. Guy named Amir Mohsen in New York City 3D printed these. I painted them. Okay. The masking tape at the bottom of the doors is to print. I'm going to be painting these threshold plates are made of cast aluminum on the real cars. I operated these. That's how I know. And this is to prevent the bleed over of the aluminum paint onto the door itself. I painted the body. The green on the body is Gloss Dark Hunter Green Rust-Oleum. The silver is actually Tamiya Silver Leaf. Recommendation from another train modeler, two actually. And so I painted a silver leaf on the top. And I masked off for the roof vents, and I used a magic marker to do the roof vents. I also, on some of the car, I have to finish this car actually to do it. I masked off where the side doors are at. I put the masking tape on that and made the door seam for the door gasket. Yeah, so I drew that up. That was a magic marker, Sharpie, with masking tape very close on either side. Did it as well as I could. Not that easy, trust me, but came together well. I have to do the bottom of the door where the gasket meets in that Y. And also what I did was I went ahead and painted, if you can look and see, yep, black bonnet. You see this area here, I got to fill this in with some putty, go out, sign this out a little bit, fill it in with some putty and then sand it down. Yep, and the bonnet was done with gloss black. I masked it off. As you can tell, there's a little bit of touch I have to do, just a touch, but it's almost there. So just a touch up here, but yeah, it's like, and the masking line, as you can tell, if you look at the masking line, I was thinking about drilling out these side sign holes right here, being I have the drills for it, and I can put acetate behind them, clear acetate or clear styrene, with lettering behind it, signs that make up. So there you have it. And the as far as the vents being done, I masked off up on top and underneath them, and I used the magic marker. I'm going to be going ahead and adding rust weathering to them, a little bit of weathering, rust-colored weathering to them. The one thing that was missing with these kits, though, is with these, because they're printed in one piece, really good job, really nice quality 3D printing, is rivets. I know it's a detail. You can buy Archer rivets. They come in different sizes. I didn't think of it until afterwards. Excuse me a second. I had to go ahead and figure out how I'm going to make the signs and letters. That shouldn't be too hard, really. Yeah, the rivets, you can get Archer rivet details, and they come in different sizes. Just that I didn't think of it till after I painted these cars. I have two of them, and if I put one on one car, the other car wouldn't have it. You would really notice a difference. So I left it where both cars, neither car is going to have rivet details. And besides, I didn't want to go ahead and strip the paint, because the paint job actually came, if you look at it, for a really first attempt. Nice demarcation lines on the paint, made a pretty nice job, First real attempt at painting an O-scale model train for me, And the floors, if you look, here's the mounting points for the floors. I'm thinking about making probably a very thin steel plate, to make for the floor, which would be actually really good, because this way this floor comes with its own weight, because steel weighs more than styrene and is a lot less flexible. But the thing is, though, is that to get any details on it, you have to epoxy them on with a two-part epoxy, or screw them into place, because Yeah, you soldering them is not going to work. You don't solder steel, you weld it. So even steel plate, like what they call 22 gauge. I think it's 22 gauge or 18 gauge I'll be using just to mount the floor. And I'm going to make holes in it to mount Northwest Shortline Stanton drives in the car floor. And these are all also going to have a DCC sound decoder with speakers in it. So there's that. Back to the Long Island Railroad M1, okay? This is the motor car using 2 Northwest Shortline Stanton drives. The wires come through the floor. Each car is weighted with copper BBs that are glued inside of the well. Inside of this area here is all hollow, believe it or not. So I added BBs in here with glue, and they're all weighed correctly. And the sound decoder and sugar cube speaker are going to be in the motor car here for the sound, the bing bong or whatever, and station announcements and stuff. So, and it'll control the motor and the lighting and stuff in the car. So yeah, the floor was some shapeways, but I made this inner floor because I would like to put seating in here because I think Walters still makes seating for commuter cars like that are somewhat close to the prototype. So I can use them in here in the floors instead, and I didn't want to have the open floor exposed. So that's why I made these styrene pieces, and as you can tell, they fit very close. And there's one of the holes to mount it to the body. It's another thing. The body, mounting the cars to the body, you have to be kind of careful. You can adjust how the car height by filing or sanding or slitting down, cutting down the posts inside the body that you mount the floor to. Yeah, I'd have to get another car. I don't want to do that right now. So, but yeah, this way you could lower the mounting floor and the couplers. As you can tell, this coupler here, 256 screw in the body. I'd have to take off this floor. That's why I made these floors removable. They're not glued on, they're removable. So you can go ahead and do this, because to get this floor into the body, you have to take off the coupler. And then when you put the body on, then you put the coupler back on. I know, crazy, but that's just how it is. If I wanted the cars to couple to each other, there was a necessary evil to do it, so to speak. So, but at least they sit at the correct coupler height. I checked it with an NMRA coupler gauge and height gauge, and also the coupler height gauge that I have that's a HO scale, which is sitting right over here. So yeah, they sit correctly to that. Okay, so yep, this is what I've been up to for the past couple of months, working on these cars, and I got some other things going on. So anyway, if you have any questions, critiques, or comments, please feel free to message me, text me, whatever. You know how to get in touch with me, guys. All right. And I will make another updated video pretty soon. You guys have a great weekend and have fun, and hope you get to enjoy some nice weather. Bye-bye.